Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome, Timothy and everybody here. This is a combination meeting with Zoom and people here in Carlisle, Pennsylvania at Osler Library. And we are going to be here today talking, having a conversation about single-use plastic. And the conversation we're having to start off this series is sustainable gift giving. And what does that mean? So I'm going to do a screen share here. There's my view. Slideshow. Okay, I guess I will introduce myself. I'm Tamala Trussell and the founder of Move Past Plastic. And we're here today to talk about the series of conversations on single-use plastic. Are your loving gifts safe and sustainable? Okay, hold on. I'm not sure what's going on with AI popping up on my screen. So we work with several big sisters, Beyond Plastics, Climate Reality, National PFAS Contamination Coalition, Plastic Pollution Coalition, are just some of the few, Better Path Coalition. So they are here to support us in our education of learning about the harms of single-use plastic. So I'm going to ask my audience here, what does sustainable mean? Anybody? To you, when I say sustainable, what does that mean?
Something that if you keep doing it, it's not going to damage. You can keep doing it. You're not going to deplete your resources. You're going to be able to keep doing it.
I like that answer.
I do too.
I was thinking about that when I wrote the same question. I think it means that it lives.
Sustainability, keep living. Yeah. Okay.
Vibrant. Still.
Yeah.
It means
Mhm.
you don't destroy it. It's just-
And those of you who are on Zoom, please come off mic and interject and tell us what you think with sustainability. What does that mean to you? Timothy, Kathy, welcome.
We're not throwing away things. We're reusing them and doing less with greenhouse gassing.
Okay. I like that. Timothy, what about you? What does sustainability mean to you? I don't know if you can come off mute, Timothy, or if you're in a situation where you can't really talk. Unfortunately, I don't have someone else who could check the chat. Kathy, is anything in the chat with Timothy?
I don't see anything in the chat at all.
Okay.
No.
Danelle, what about you? What's sustainability mean?
I mean, obviously all of those are good answers, but I particularly like the ability to the first response of like being able to continually, it's a renewable and non-toxic, it's not having a negative impact because it's like operating within itself to recreate.
Live.
Yeah.
Still alive.
Okay.
I don't feel like I have any better way of putting it than.
No, I think you guys are
said.
hitting on several good things. You've mentioned toxicity, you've mentioned regeneration, alive. So the resources then need to break down in a way, right, Ben, to recreate life.
It's going to.
Is that what you were kind of thinking, Ben?
A continuance. It's
Mhm.
continuous.
Okay,
I was just gonna say, it's just able to keep doing it and keep doing it, and you're not gonna run out. Like with fossil fuels, you're gonna reach a point when, not, I mean, besides the pollution and all those other issues,
yeah,
you're gonna reach a point when there's no more. You know, like water cycle keeps going. You can still mess that up, but the water cycle is continuous. It'll keep going back.
yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay, so some of us, sometimes we might think of sustainability by the R's. Sometimes people have 3 R's or 5 R's, 8 R's, 9 R's. I've got 9 up here. And most people, the biggest R they think of is recycling. Notice how in this graphic, recycling is the 10th R. It's in the very bottom. It's not even on the page here. So first we need to rethink and do, you know, hey, do I need this? And then maybe refuse to purchase or, you know, take whatever, reduce, you know, what we use. So I'm trying to get my husband not to use paper towels. Because I'm like, we have a ton of old cotton cloth towels. Just use those. They can wash them, you ever use them. We don't need to use the paper towels, right? So we're in that process. And a lot of people don't think about refurbish and repair, but think about how many things you throw away. And one of the biggest contributors is this lovely cell phone, right? Like every 2-3 years, you're getting a new one because the thing just, it's called planned obsolescence. They plan it to break. So you're forced to buy more just by making the battery not accessible. So just that alone, no less than recoding it. So any thoughts about the R's for the people in the audience and online here?
Just a little bit off to the side, but with rethink, there being more a need to what's it called,
Reconsider.
like a reward. What's the like incentive, better incentive for companies and individuals to have these, like, reinvent what we're doing and have better ways of doing it instead of, I know there are good things to come out of it too, but instead of like getting super excited about planting things on Mars, maybe like rethinking and recreating the process of creating things that we constantly consume. And also it's obviously like rethinking what we are using. Like, are we using plastic containers? Are we using glass? And thinking about the costs and benefits and costs of each of those decisions. And I also really like the refuse, even though that's difficult. It's pretty much impossible with how things are set up, that like even if you're trying to do fresh produce, unless there's very specific circumstances where you can go to a farm or a local market, like farmer's market, you're not going to have an option of not getting plastic.
Right. If I want my mushrooms and my berries,
Yeah.
unless I don't buy them, I pretty much have to take the plastic container, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how about you guys? What are your thoughts?
I have a person in Greenbelt who's works managing a lot of the city's public works. And on her email, I was just trying to find it, I can't, but she writes at the end of her emails often, if it can't be reused, refurbished and all, it shouldn't be made.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so let's dive in a little bit more with sustainability and just kind of get a crisp, succinct definition. So you guys kind of hit it nail on the head. It's basically supporting the ecology, humanity, and economics. You know, we are in a capitalist society. And you notice there's these concentric circles. So environmental, big circle, societal, next, and then economics, and they're nested circles. They're all a part of one big system, and they're all important. Environmental is, whoa, hey, come back. It didn't do my, I had a whole bunch of words right here. Oh my goodness. Where's all my words? They're not even, okay. Well, we'll just, there's supposed to be a bunch of words there, but one thing that comes to mind for me, if something's sustainable, it's gonna last. Okay, and so that means if it's gonna break, I can repair it, I can repurpose it, you know, going back to those R's. So now, but even within that, if you take the environmental aspects, the rate of consumption, as you guys were talking about, it has to not exceed nature's rate of replenishment. I think that's what Ben was getting at. And when humanity's rate of replenishment of generating pollutions and emissions of greenhouse gases, which you guys also mentioned, the earth has to have the capacity to process, break down, dilute these toxins that we're creating, okay, into benign, reusable molecules. And right now, we are using and extracting natural resources from our earth to the extent that if we were to continue to do this, we're going to need 1.7 Earths. By 1930, just in a few years, we're going to need two full Earths. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 2030. I'm saying 1930, like that's twice now I've done that. Flashback, I don't know. In 2030, we'll need 2 Earths if we continue to consume like what we're doing now. And so the Stockholm Convention has that the boundaries, passing the planetary boundaries. And so it's, you know, kind of think of these concentric circles, or a more like they have it looking kind of like a bullseye. And so climate change is 2 levels above, outside of that bullseye. If you're in the bullseye, the planet is able to break down, dilute, regenerate resources, keep the air, the water clean, the soil going, and everything.
It's so good a way to clean it. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Great.
Now, climate, according to the Stockholm Convention, and you're looking at that bullseye graphic, it is 2 levels removed.
2.
And yes, and everybody is all up in arms over climate, right? Which we should be. It's a big deal. It's costing us billions in infrastructure, in wars, in famines, in just untold damage, right? But what people don't understand is novel entities, aka chemicals or petrochemicals, aka plastic, is 5 levels above that, outside of that bullseye of safety. 5. So it's insane, and we should care about.
Is each level a double?
It's I don't think so.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't.
Are you talking
I
about
think I don't
levels
think
as
it's
far as-
logarithmic
as far
or
as-
exponential.
Just increased.
Yeah. I mean, they're just showing concentric
How far
circles.
above the-
It's yeah, and it wasn't even when they first started these bullseyes, it wasn't even, you know, charted. And biodiversity is the next level. I think that's at level 4 away from
What is?
biodiversity.
We're losing biodiversity.
Yeah,
That's going down.
huge, like huge. So, okay, so the next thing, we've kind of touched on this question. Oops, but why are sustainable products essential? So I was kind of talking big and general, but you guys can get, down a little micro bit or personally to answer this question. Well, let's start with Kathy or Timothy. You guys want to tell us why are sustainable products essential to you?
I just want to let Timothy comment in the chat is whomever is speaking is awesome. Thumbs up. Meaning you. And sustainability, we just use up too much, like the mining for the batteries. We won't have enough. And then that hurts the earth. Um, um, and and like for agriculture, we're going to use up our soil, deplete the nutrients. So there's lots of places that when you grow food, the nutrients aren't as good as they should be. So you're not getting good food.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned that, Kathy. I was just on a webinar today that finished at 4 o'clock, and it was on pesticide use and in particular for our parks and children's playing fields and things. But they weren't specifically talking about agriculture, but it definitely holds true with agriculture. But because we put our herbicides, pesticides, and fungicides on our farm fields and our grass, our lawns, our parks,
Golf course.
and golf courses, yes, you name it, we are killing the soil structure and completely altering it. Microplastics themselves are all altering the soil structure, and it's changing the microbiology. So like the bacteria, it's going to break down things in the soil that then a protozoan will uptake, and then that protozoan, its excrement, its excretion is nitrogen. And then the bacteria take that nitrogen and make it available to plants. And so there's this very intricate webbing. And then other bacteria have this glue where they can have pore separation in the soil so that oxygen and water can move. And it's just so complex, right? But we take it and we compact it and we kill all of this. So then it just becomes this vicious cycle of having to put more and more and more on.
We kill nature's balance.
Yes, absolutely. We're completely destroying nature's balance. What about you guys? What does sustainability mean to you? Like, why is it essential?
But you know what I thought I'd take? Trying to make it
Yeah,
clear?
yeah, no,
Having spent my own over me, what we do here is different. Third world countries have a different pollution than we have. And they have gases and stuff, but we have so much, and especially since the pandemic, there's so much incredibly amount of plastic there. Just incredible amount. And we're the third world and second world, even they have more, I think, environmental stuff. So
yeah.
something we have to keep in mind. But I guess the thing is, everybody thinks they have to do what they can do. So just so much. We're so behind.
So now, what does sustainability mean to you?
I think that the direct question of like why sustainable products are essential for me personally is like having access to it, having the options, because that's what I want to be able to be acting in accordance with my values, and a lot of times it's just really difficult. It can be very expensive and all of that, or take creativity and time to create your own, like cut up those old t-shirts, sew them together, whatever, make things that you can do to like make your own life more environmentally conscientious, etc. But I am glad that there are more sustainable products becoming more readily available. There are pros and cons to that system. I think it's good that we can order bamboo alternatives to plastic and cornstarch alternatives to plastic, depending on what you're using
Right.
it for. It's great that you can have the accessibility of going and getting that sometimes at Walmart or ordering it off of Amazon. But then there's also like the issues of shipping and directly to people's houses. It's all there's
Yes.
and the packaging that they might choose to
To bring it to your door.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it makes the conveniences important and it improves accessibility and sometimes affordability. But there's
Ye-
a lot of things that need to be addressed.
Yes, so the way our system is set up is that we subsidize the petrochemical industry so that plastics are cheap. 30,000 pounds per year of chemicals are produced in America per person.
Can I just
And-
say something though
yeah.
about the fact that it's cheap? Like, in no way is it actually cheap. It is only
Right.
constructed to appear cheap to the consumer.
Yeah,
However, it is costing us in so many ways. And the fact that our tax dollars, our income is being given to petrochemical industries to be able to say that the price tag is lower.
right, so,
But
Really?
we're actually funding it and
Really?
yeah.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
so.
And then in the health
Mhm.
issue, like things that we are paying for in
Yeah.
all levels.
These are called externalized costs, so there are many externalized costs, right, from the climate. Greenhouse gas emissions, from health, and environmental problems and, everything like that. And we pay for that through our tax dollars, while the industry will just make the profits. And so we are paying for it. We are paying for large amounts of even just hauling away our trash, right? And, all of that. So, it says, why are sustainable products essential? Well, because meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. That's kind of what we've been talking about, right? We want to be able to live and to enjoy and to have conveniences, but do them sustainably, but we care about a future. Whereas our system now is just about what's going to make us the quickest buck, and our economics is about, what's our GDP,
Yeah, I think there's a lot of talk about trying to. Like, we don't put price tags on, like you were saying, on a lot of things,
clean
that
air,
are gonna
water.
matter, clean water.
Yeah.
I had a thing pop up on my Facebook that I had posted a couple of years ago, cause like when you do outreach to refugees, and the people are mad that refugees are coming into our country, but if there's climate disasters in other nations, that's gonna make that happen. It's gonna impact so many different
Right.
things that we're not even seeing.
Yeah, that's why I was talking about
Yeah.
wars, exactly, yeah.
And the wars and all those
Mhm.
other things that it impacts that we don't even think about.
Yep. So why should companies pursue sustainability, and why are some of them? I thought we should, go over this. And it's because they want to increase operational efficiency by reducing cost and waste, because then it costs them less. They can respond to or reach new customers and increase their competitive advantage. A lot of them are using greenwashing to do this, so we've got to be cautious. We'll be talking a little bit about that. Protecting and strengthen their brand reputation and build public trust. A lot of certifications and terms get thrown around loosely that they're not actually doing. We'll get to that in a minute. And to respond to regulatory constraints. So, what are the majority of gifts that we give currently made of?
You're gonna
Is
say
it plastic?
Plastics, good, yes. So there's that 30,000 pounds of chemicals per person. Notice that this is the total chemical production in blue, and you see the plastic production in red are going tandem hand in hand. So most all of the chemicals produced are for plastic production. And the global plastic production is has only globally been 14% recycled, nationally 9%, currently 5%. And production is due to increase triple by 2050, double by 2034.
And you'll probably go into this also, but even the things that are being recycled, it's not
It's
like
not-
a clean slate.
Right,
a
it's
clean
not
process.
upcycled.
It's-
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yep.
And
And
they can't keep recycling it like plastic, plastic. You can't.
Yeah, this is that planetary boundary that I was talking about. I forgot I did include it here. Sorry, I gave another presentation earlier today and I forget, and I just made this PowerPoint slide 3 hours last night. So I gotta forget what I put on what presentation. But you can see here the chemical novel entities, how it's so far removed. And this is climate change right here. So it's actually, you know, here's the green boundary. So it's actually showing 1 level. I was thinking of this, which was 2, but yeah, so we're 1 level removed from that bullseye, that green bullseye. But look at where chemical is, biodiversity, and then the other one,
what do you mean we are? Like where is it?
yeah,
from
the
us?
entire
The
planet,
entire planet. too.
the entire planet.
Yeah,
Because this is planetary boundaries.
I know, but you were saying we are whatever ring outside of.
See this
whatever.
green, the green concentric ring?
Yeah,
If these are different aspects of you know, here climate change, ocean acidification, different systems that
okay.
are being used to keep us going, right? And so they have the soil one in here and different ones. And so the climate is 1 level or, you know, depending on how you look at this bullseye, I was kind of thinking this first ring here, but they give green a little bit bigger swath in this new image. But it's outside of that planetary boundary we've exceeded, but novel entities, chemicals and plastic is way past. Okay, and so in a plastics, there's 24,000 substances of concern by the EU, and 10 to 20,000 plastics are chemicals are being used in each and every plastic. The Nordic Council of Ministers have 144 chemicals that are designated as hazardous. And these come in the form of retardants, hardeners, softeners, lubricants, phthalates, biophenols, which are PBAs, and their replacements, PBF and PBS are just as toxic, and PFAS.
Are those the same as BPAs?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yep, BPAs, PFAS. Here is a bioplastic, right? And this has 20,000 chemicals were detected. These are called chemical trees. So, and these are just some of the health effects from plastics. So everything from, you know, some things that aren't on here are autism, intellectual and physical development. Girls are now getting fatty liver disease at 12 and stuff like that. It's crazy. Because those are because of endocrine disrupting chemicals such as your PABAs and your PFAS.
Doesn't affect boys.
Oh, yeah, they're getting affected too. But as far as the liver, I haven't heard about that. Yeah. Yeah. So PFAS are those ubiquitous fluoroalkyl substances. And these are what's bioaccumulating and building up, and every person's blood. I think they have 97 or 98, depending on what source you get of people's blood. And they're in our air, water, soil, and raining down on us. They're found in everyday products. So they're in baby diapers. They're in your sports bras. They're in infant socks, waterproof mascara and lipstick. They're in your lotions. They're just pretty much anything electronic, your phone, your computer. They're in every plastic because when they get pushed through the extrusion process and the molding process, they use PFAS to prevent the machines from getting gunked up. PFAS resist heat, oil, and water, all wonderful traits, aspects, but we've created a highly toxic chemical that has now been created for 100 years, just about a century. Just shy. They started making it in the 1930s, and then heavily producing it in the World War II to cover the tanks and things, and booming since the 60s. So, these are specific diseases that you can be exposed to with PFAS, from fertility, preeclampsia, low infant birth weight, high blood cholesterol levels, increased risk of thyroid disease, the young girls, liver disease. There's even things that talk about, like I said, the mental and physical development here with the lower birth weight. So microplastics, chemicals have crossed the blood-brain barrier and the placental barrier. And we are consuming a credit card's worth of plastic a week. I have collected
You say,
a credit card worth of plastic a week,
of what?
of plastic. We are consuming and breathing in.
Really?
Yeah.
How much?
She's talking about the
Yeah.
she's talking about the particles that are. like,
Yeah.
in the
So that,
Really?
yeah,
That's a lot.
it is a lot. So a credit card is equal to, I don't know if you can see it, 5 of these gram cubes.
Yeah.
And that's every week. That's what we
You know,
do.
when they
So-
push the body, plastic is the most they find.
Yeah.
Body.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. So this is some of the lint out of my dryer. Okay, and for the week. And so I wanted to kind of,
Your body can't get rid of the plastic.
yeah, this is what 30% of the dust that you breathe in is, coming from here. And now imagine these fibers.
I was just gonna help with,
Yeah.
put that in, then they
More-
can see what you're doing.
Yes, more of this lint from your wash machine gets washed out to the watershed, right? Then even the dryer picks up. So is that about even? Not yet. A little bit more. So most of this is made up of a little too much unnatural fibers, right? Because if you're like me, most of my clothes, the fuzzy blankets and everything are polyester, nylon, artificial fabrics. But I have a bag of my puppy's fur. This will break down. This is natural. This is not going to break down.
No way
So-
you get rid of it.
So that's a lot. Imagine every week, this is you with getting this, breathing it in. It's impacting your gut, your lungs. So not a great thing. All right, now let's move on to ways that we can locate sustainable products. And it's not easy. Okay, and it's going to be a process. It's going to be a journey for you. I have created a toolkit that will get you this recording, this PowerPoint slides, and a whole bunch of other resources that you're going to see. So don't worry about ever having, when you come to a presentation that I give, taking any of that down. I meant to tell you that at the beginning. My apologies. The Environmental Working Group is a great resource. They have looked at products for all kinds of chemical toxifications, and they will have their stickers on products such as this right here. And you'll find it in other makeup products and a whole bunch of different products. They look at PFAS in there, as well as all these other volatile organic compounds and heavy metals, a bunch of stuff. Also, PFAS-free products is another good resource to look to see. And, you know, say you want a raincoat or waterproof boots, or you want diapers without PFAS. These are two things that you can, or your baby's mattress or whatever. These are two things that you can look to find products without PFAS. Now, there's this certification here, OEKO. Someone pronounce it for me. I don't even know how to pronounce that.
There you go.
OECO, I don't know, but OECO Tech, and that tech is for textiles. This is certification is going to do any textile. So that's probably from your carpet to your blankets to your clothing. Okay. And it's supposed to give you pretty good comfort because they are looking at all kinds of chemicals. However, there's a caveat here. It's a little bit complicated, but they are testing for organic fluorine and not the extracted PFAS polymers, such as the polytetrafluoroethylene, otherwise known as Teflon, which is the biggest, one of the biggest PFAS chemicals out of the 12,000, along with PFOA and PFOS, which have been kind of we're not supposed to be using, but we import. But that's on everything. That's on so many things, from your carpets to your nonstick pans. It's on everything. So even if you have this OECA certification, it still might not be safe. So bear that in mind. So on that note, one thing that you can do is on some products, particularly for cooking, is try to get products made out of glass. Okay, I just had my coffee pot show a break in it, my water pot, I should say, and come to find out it was plastic. I've been using it for years. As you guys know, heat in plastic is the worst. So this water pot was probably at least, I don't know, I'm thinking 5-7 years old. And yeah, that's bad. So I'm going to die tomorrow. No, not really. And then here's stainless steel container. So try to, get natural products, but that doesn't mean just because it's natural product that it won't have it on it, because like they line aluminum cans with plastic that has PFAS. And some of these textiles, like I said, are covered with plastic, and they might be a cotton textile or whatever. So it's no guarantee, but at least it's a certification that can help you. Okay, look for that. One of the biggest ways that you can avoid toxins is avoid fast fashion. Avoid the nylon, polyester clothing that we all love, our stretchable clothing. And begin to look for natural clothing. However, there's a lot of natural clothing, such as cotton and other types, that are still bad for the environment. They use a ton of pesticides, a lot of water, and all of that. So you would want to look for an organic cotton. So these are two sources that you can just kind of look at. And here are a whole bunch more other certifications to look for. So this is GOTS for organic textile. And organic is the only term that you will see when it comes to like sustainability that everyone will mention that is actually a defined specific term, but it only applies to agriculture. But you will see when I went to look for a mattress, organic mattress. Like what the heck is an organic mattress now? The cotton that they and wool, I guess, you know, that was in it, you know, but like latex, I don't know, I guess because I was looking at latex because that's natural from a rubber tree as opposed to the polyurethane foam. But still, like they were pushing it to say organic. So you just got to be careful. But these are some other certifications that you can look for in the textile area. This one, the Certi Pure US certified. Once again, it's like a gimmick. That means nothing. You're certifying your polyurethane foam. What are you certifying that as? You know, I mean, it's polyurethane foam. So some of the stuff is not great. So I use the mattress example because one, I was shopping for that, and you can apply the same thoughts when you look at certifications and you see fancy words from, you know, your products, and ask yourself, you know, is that real or is that greenwashing? Because like I found out the mattress that I got was all, you know, supposed to be organic, but the springs, the coils was made with adhesives as opposed to being heat fused, and those adhesives give off all these toxins. So I'm like, oh, great. Just spent $800 on this expensive organic mattress that's still contaminated me as I sleep. Or Peyton, it was her mattress. So you'll get this list of resources too on PFAS. They have these scorecard rankings for fashion brands, and so that's kind of neat. And PFAS-free apparel pledge, and the scientific basis for managing the PFAS class, just different things if you're interested. Okay, let's move on to sustainable toys. The certifications that I could find for sustainable toys are the ASTM F93 or 963, which is by the consumer safety specification. It's mostly dealing with safety. Most all of these certifications are dealing with safety, choking hazard, strangling, heat, whatever. Not a lot of them are really dealing with toxins. The one that is the EU's EN 71, which is covering chemicals, heavy metals, flammability, and as well as the mechanical properties. But you have to realize that a lot of the kids' clothing, toys, bedding, et cetera, you know, they were coating it with PFAS to give you that flammable, you know, their little jammy that you give them to go sleep at night was, you know, flame retardant. Oh my gosh, right? So bad, full of PFAS. So it's good to be conscientious of that. Now, most of the toys that we give our children are plastic, and they might even say, "Ooh, PABA free." Once again, that's a greenwashing. It doesn't mean that it's safe, and not because PABA is that endocrine disruptor that we're talking about, right? Endocrine disrupting chemical. It might have been replaced with the PBF and PBS. So be mindful of that. Other things that we might not think about when it comes to toys and is some of these certifications are, here's one for safety and security issues, performance issues, risk of integration with wireless technologies, specific absorption rates or SAR exposure, which is radio frequency absorption, electromagnetic capability, cybersecurity. And so these are some other things to think about, because a lot more of our toys and our home appliances, our Alexas, right, in our house, are all these technologies, everything, you know, the kids are holding and using. And so it's something to consider. I know the least about this area, by the way. It's a new understanding for me. But we also need to think about bouncing off that into our sustainable electronics. And so SERI is the biggest certification, and then they have this R2 certification, which looks at the downstream vendors, so the primary facility and the downstream vendors, delivering confidence that your electronics will be responsibly reused. Now, that said, certain money is set aside for us to recycle our electronics, but our older electronics, for example, way too much, and they aren't taking them. We were paying for the weight of like a laptop, but I still have towers and big heavy monitors and whatever. So I have to go, and other people have to go to the recycling, you know, electronic recycling center and pay, what is it?
Yeah,
50
it's
cents,
50
$2 a
'cause
pound
I
or
have
something, yeah,
multiple
right?
things.
Which adds up like to like, you know, anywhere between $5 and $20, depending on your unit, you know, and if you have multiple. So it's very discouraging for those who can't afford that, right? What do you think they're going to do? They're going to dump it in the landfill. What do you think that's going to do? Well, gosh, that's not good. Heavy metals and everything. So there's this one phone that I came across a few years ago, and I managed to find it again. And it's called Fairphone. And this one's a Fairphone 4. It's a Dutch maker. And the phone, it kind of reminds me of Legos, where you can like snap together all the pieces. So you can snap out the battery. If your camera messes up, put in a new camera, whatever. It's so cool. But there's others as well out there. And here's the good news, guys. If you just type sustainable products for whatever you're looking for, it will populate and come up. But do look around, because and notice who's advertising it. Is it the person who's making it, or is it an independent third party? And then sometimes even that's hard to tell, because what looks like an environmental group or a third party independent verified group is actually a group that was all the people on the board are made up of the petrochemical industry, or, you know, whoever's trying to sell the product. So it's a little bit complicated. Another thing is, as Danelle was saying, we order, you know, these wonderful products. Like, instead of my plastic scrubby, you've got this scrubby. I've got, you know, the bamboo toothbrushes. You know, here's these scrubbies, and I've got some bamboo. Like I just got a bunch of kitchen stuff. Sorry. So that's what I brought today. You know, these and that kind of thing. But I can't walk into my local Walmart and get this, right? I had to order it from Amazon, but it came in what? A bunch of plastic. Not great. So a lot of us are trying to avoid plastic and consider the packaging and everything that things are shipped in. Films, basically, you cannot recycle them. And things can say, packaging can often say it's recyclable, but it's not, unless it's a commodity and unless there's a place to take it. And there's a MRF, which is a material recovery center, that's going to sort it. And that just doesn't happen. So yes, technically speaking, all plastic is recyclable, technically speaking, but it doesn't happen because there's too many different types of plastic with too many different types of characteristics. And they, you know, besides incinerating them or throwing in these fake chemical recycling pyrolysis plants, it's not gonna happen. You're not gonna recycle it. Pretty much your clear plastic water bottle is recyclable. But on that note, there are some good advancements because yes, we want to reuse, we want to repurpose, we want to fix as much as we can, consume less, become a regenerative economy. But there are cases where we do need a reuse or not a reusable product, but a disposable product. I think we can move away from disposability in a lot of aspects and use this logistics for getting us packaged, reverse logistics to get it back in bottles and reusables and refill. But sometimes, that's not possible. So this is a wonderful company that I was introduced to a few years ago, and I just actually yesterday, went to another program where she was a guest speaker again, one of the co-founders. And so they have a bunch of wonderful products that they are making for packaging, where their product will break down in 6 to 8 days in your backyard, compostable. It's fantastic. So that's nice that we're getting some cool innovations.
And it really does well, because I know like
Yeah.
so a lot of those compostable ones I've tried to put out in my backyard and they're still there.
Yeah. So that is the spiel. I wanted you guys to just kind of know that there are certifications for different things out there, to know that they exist and can help you navigate a little bit. It is still a big mess. And even me, oh my gosh, it takes some work, but the more you do it, the more you'll become familiar with it, and you'll know what is a real true certification that's meaningful, what's a bogus one. And it's just a process, guys. You cannot beat yourself up for any learning that you're doing. Like me, or ordering my organic bed for $800. And now what do? Mail the thing back, put more greenhouse gas emissions and throw it? I don't know, right? Dilemmas. So you're just gonna have to accept that those, being educated, not ignorant, is not necessarily bliss. It's complicated. So I would love for you guys to share your favorite traditions, sustainable traditions, or your products that you use coming up with this holiday tradition. I'll just share one of mine and then I'll pass it on to you guys. Is I got years ago when the kids were little, I was propelled to get this fabric on sale, all this wonderful Christmas fabric from Joann's, 50% off. And I was like, I was excited. So much fun stuff. But I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with it? I want to make clothes with it. And I'm like, that's gift wrapping. And then I don't have to pay money and tape and everything. And so I've used it to this day. They're over 20 years old, my bags of Joann fabrics, and I love it. When you have kids and it's late at night and Santa's got to wrap, open up the bag, throw it in, tie it, done. It's so great. So Kathy, Timothy, we'll start with you. Tell us something sustainable that you do, or a product that you use that you really like.
Timothy, you want to go first? He might be able to talk later, he said.
Okay.
I give money.
Okay.
I've been doing that for years for my 2 boys. I'm a grandmother, so I don't buy a lot of stuff. And what I'll do is ship something up to New York for them. And like just yesterday, I shipped up a package where they left a lot of their items here by mistake. And I shipped, a container of the, where you put for Mom's Market, to do your toothbrush. Instead of buying plastic container, you can do the pellets, and I put it in a tin can, and I put crickets in it, barbecue crickets from, yeah, uh-huh,
That's
yeah.
it.
yeah.
That's great. Wonderful. Thanks for sharing, Kathy. Timothy, I know sometimes it's hard for you to talk, so Kathy, if will check the chat, and if you want to type something in, that'd be awesome, Timothy. How about now we'll go to you next.
I have a few.
I know she does.
My first one is I have taken up the tradition of making bags instead of using wrapping paper. It's really cute. It's so cute. And
Wow,
it works so
great.
well. Oh, well, I mean, I didn't think about it. I have some for different holidays, and I go thrift shopping a fair amount, and enjoy repurposing the material from things I find there. And also friends give me a lot of hand-me-downs, so I repurpose a lot of that. And one of my, as far as gifts go, one of my favorite things to do as a present is to repair things for people. And that's so exciting to me. I get so pleased with being able to turn something around, and it's just really fun. I know that for some people, that doesn't feel like very much of a gift to get their old thing back looking newer. My sister, it's not her favorite thing, but my niece loves it, so works out well. I think that's like my favorite. I was thinking of something else and I forgot it already, so.
Well, after we're done, everyone
Yeah.
goes around, you'll come up with
Yeah.
it. Julia, what about you? What are some things that,
My family, as I have 4 siblings, and as we got older, I think we did a lot more food gifts. But one thing that I do try to do is one of our church's ministries is to women that are caught in like prostitution and stuff like that. And we give gift bags to them. And they always tease me because I'm always the one who wraps everything, like when they bring the ladies treats and they put them in all the plastic, and they want to present it well. I'm the one that will go try to find like paper bags and stuff like that and tie it up in that, or tins, like
Mhm.
gift tins. And I try to spin those out. Like one year when they wanted us to get everybody gloves, I went on Etsy and tried to find gloves that were upcycled. So sometimes even if I don't make it myself, I can get
Yeah.
a homemade gift. One of my friends is a potter. So when my nephew got married, I had her make a pot. So it's not really like you know what I mean? It's just, it's a little bit
Yeah.
more creative
Yeah.
or something. Or when my friend got married, I tried so hard to give them I was trying to find a horse-drawn sleigh ride. I couldn't find it. I ended up giving them something else, but I like to give like experience gifts. When we were kids, my mom wasn't really a gift, but she'd say to us, "You're going on a mystery ride. I want you to get dressed up, or she'd tell us what to bring your bathing suit, and not tell us where we were going and then take us somewhere," which I thought was a really cool thing.
That's
oh,
awesome.
I love that, Julia.
Yeah.
Her son does that very
Yeah.
well.
Oh, that's,
That's my long-term boyfriend.
oh,
And he's very
that's
good at that.
great. Ben, we are almost out of time. Actually, we are, but we're gonna let you go and send us off. Go.
Give money,
Okay,
and this is, I give for jewelry. So I think that's a reasonable.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll have to talk to you about jewelry because I found a really cool place.
That's good.
It does,
That is
yeah.
good, that's good.
Okay.
It's like very sustainable and repurposed.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
very
yeah,
cool.
that's good.
If you guys have any input, any ideas, anything else that you want to share, send it to me and I will include it in the email that goes out with the toolkit, the PowerPoint slide, and this recording. Because I know I've heard from this group here a bunch of different stuff they've talked about that wasn't talked about tonight. And I know you guys have a lot too. And it could be your favorite places, or just, I'm a gift of service and practicality. And Astanel, they actually got some of this eco-friendly dish stuff. last
That was the other thing I
Christmas.
was gonna say.
Yeah.
Is giving like sample almost of different sustainable things as presents.
Yes.
And I receive and
Yeah.
give that, and then people can see what they like.
One thing too,
It's like, here's some eco swag, you'll appreciate.
this is things that say antibacterial can be toxic and hazardous. So be mindful. Bacteria is good, guys. We need to embrace bacteria and just clean with your usual baking soda, lemon juice, just vinegar. It's all you need. Oh, here's something really cool. I use baking soda because I use it in my face in my shower and every now and then on my hair. I used it to scrub my grout. Got off the mold. I'm like, yes, baking soda, so cheap and easy. But anyways, that's all for tonight. I want to thank everybody for coming. I hope you learned something, and don't get anxious about anything. Just do one thing at a time. Learn about one certification. Just keep it simple. Keep the wheel turning and enjoy your holidays. And I hope to see you guys at our next meeting. I think it's December 18th. So look for that, and the rest of the series. Have a good evening.
What did you use on your
Thank
ground?
you.
Bye.
Baking soda.
Baking soda, cause I have that problem.